Hi, I'm Wendy Turner, Executive Director of Michigan Public. You might have heard that public media is under threat. You're not wrong. But I come to tell you that your voice has power. Visit protectmypublicmedia.org, contact your lawmakers, and take a stand today.
Prej Iroegbu, known as Chef Prej, grew up in a small farming village in Nigeria before moving to the U.S. and ultimately setting roots in Detroit.
Up until I came to the United States, I never saw a city before. I lived in a small farm village. Nobody in the village owned any type of engine vehicle, right? And so we lived in the farm. I grew up in a family of 7. We were poor, but we had what we needed. So it wasn't like we were like hungry because the farm was there, right? So I just didn't like farming. I hated it. So what I do in the morning, because my mom would wake us up sometimes at 5 a.m. to go. And I'd be like, hey, you guys go, and I'll just have a hot meal for you guys, and I'll bring it. At the beginning, they didn't like it, but then they realized, okay, this guy can really cook.
Realizing he was more skillful in the kitchen than on the farm, Prej began spending more time cooking than farming.
They said, okay, well, you're just going to make this. Why don't you come back to the farm? I'm like, no, I'll bring something else. So I started coming up with different ideas to just keep myself from not going to the farm. So this business, this idea of being a chef came from not wanting to actually do the hard labor.
This is The Dish, a series where we talk with some of Michigan's most talented chefs through one signature plate. I'm Mercedes Mejia. Today, we're talking with Chef Prej Iroegbu of Fork in Nigeria. He'll tell us about crafting his cooking style and sourcing specialty Nigerian ingredients for his most popular dish, egusi soup. It's made from ground melon seeds and served with pounded yam, or fufu. Plus, we'll hear about his plans to open a restaurant in Detroit. Nigerian food, like other West African food, is known for its rich, spicy stews and use of regional ingredients. On the farm is where Prej learned to cook with all the vegetables available to him.
So what were you growing? What was on the farm?
We grew the melons. We grew yams. My dad was one of the biggest yam owners in Nigeria, in the east of at that time. We had a big pineapple plantation. We had cocoa, where we went out and made sure we trimmed it and harvested it all the time. And we had a lot of animals, but we weren't allowed to cook or eat the animals. So my cooking style has always been a vegan cooking style, which I didn't even know what a vegan was until I came to the U.S. and realized, oh, that's vegan. That's like just normal how we eat, because we would eat the food and we don't have meat. So we'll come up with different ideas to make it look like we're eating meat. So we use plantains and make things work, or we use like yams and infuse them, or we can put like fruits in it. And then after we'll come back from the farm, some of the food left over, I'll put it on the street and I will sell it. So when I was like 12, 13 years old, I already had a stand where I was serving food. And so people were coming, buying, and my dad was like, maybe this might actually work, but you need to still go back to the farm. So I did everything possible to stay away.
One day, a man working on a nearby oil rig came looking for Prej. The man heard of a young, talented cook in the area.
And they had this big boat where they had all these engineers that stayed there, that worked. And they'll bring chefs from like China, Europe to cook for them, because these were like all Europeans. And but one day, these guys kept saying, we want some African food. We want to try the local food. So they came out asking, like, who in this area knows really how to cook? And everybody's like, that kid. So they came at nighttime. They asked my dad, hey, can I learn? Can they bring me? And I was like, yeah.
Soon, Prej was on an oil rig, learning how the kitchen operates and training to use the equipment. A year later, he was on his own.
And I handled the kitchen. That night, every single person, every single worker in there ate all the food that I made. People came back looking for more. And they were like, oh my God, this is really a big deal. So they were like, we're going to put you on schedule 2 times a week, 3 times a week. And then they eventually got me my own team. And it was one of the best times I ever had. But I was very young. I was like 14, 15, 16 doing that. It was insane.
Perhaps that experience gave Prej the confidence to keep cooking. Soon he left Nigeria and eventually landed in Detroit, where he had family. And even though he studied business in college, cooking was still his passion.
Since I came to this country, I've always wanted to do what I did back home. I came here and I realized we didn't really have the food that I ate, and that the restaurants that did not know how to do it. I've traveled all around the country and I've always gone to get food, and I didn't like the way they quite made it. So I decided it would be time for me to really invest into the market and find out how I can make it work.
Everything on the menu at Fork in Nigeria is inspired by traditional African cooking and ingredients. When we come back, Chef Prej shares his signature dish, egusi soup with pounded yam. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Wendy Turner, Executive Director of Michigan Public. You might have heard that public media is under threat. You're not wrong. But I come to tell you that your voice has power. Visit protectmypublicmedia.org, contact your lawmakers, and take a stand today.
On the menu at Fork in Nigeria food trucks are savory meat dishes made with goat, lamb, and oxtail, and equally hearty but less heavy veggie-based dishes like cassava leaf stew or spinach and kale soup, and many rices like jollof rice. On this day, simmering on the stove is a 200-quart pot of fragrant tomato stew. That's about 50 gallons.
Oh yeah, so this is a tomato stew sauce that I just made this morning. This is going to be gone by the end of today. I use thyme, garlic, habanero, rosemary, and a few other spices that I use to make it. It's really, really good.
Secret spices.
Yeah, secret spices, and this is all vegan. So no meat is added. We cook our meats. As you can see, we cook our meats all separately.
In another pot, tender chunks of lamb are simmering in red pepper sauce. Chef Prej says each vegetable has its purpose.
Americans cook with like wine. In Nigeria, we cook with vegetables. So we blend vegetables and we simmer our meats with vegetables. So that's what you see me doing here. This is the lamb, and you cook it till it's tender. You have the thyme, the rosemary, and then you cook it with pepper. There are different peppers for everything. So there's the red bell pepper, there's the yellow bell pepper, there's the green one. We use them for different things, and they all have different flavors.
Prej sources a lot of his ingredients directly from Nigeria, like peppers, yams, spices, and palm oil, a key ingredient in West African cooking.
Yes, palm oil is one of our biggest ingredients. When I first came here, I realized a lot of the restaurants were substituting that for like the vegetable oil. It's not the same. It's not the same. The texture is not the same. The flavor is not the same. The color is not the same.
Here in the States, some people have concerns about how palm oil is produced and whether it's good for you. But there's no doubt palm oil is the backbone of many Nigerian dishes. Another local ingredient Prej gets direct from Nigeria is egusi, a type of ground melon seed used in his most popular dish, egusi soup.
So the egusi, which is the melon seeds, you can't find it here at all. It has to definitely 1,000% come from Nigeria. The way egusi is made is melons, and then you take the melons, you break it, and then you let it sit for a couple of days, and then you soak it in water and sun dry, and then you break it, and then you blend it. It's so much work. So you gotta be able to have someone that has that type of labor and time to get it done. And it can't. I don't know anybody that'll be able to do it. And then even if they do it here, it wouldn't work. Something that's similar is sunflower seeds, but it's still not the same.
The egusi is not like anything I've ever tasted. The flavor is mild, slightly bitter, and not overpowering.
That is so unique. Getting a hint almost of pumpkin or of melon now, because now that I know it's melon.
Yeah, now you can basically follow it.
But it's so subtle.
It's hard to describe. It's so different. It's like on a buttery side, but it's not butter. And it has this like milk-looking color when you look at it. But once you cook it with the palm oil, it comes out with this beautiful orange, yellowish color. And that's because we add the palm oil.
Served with the egusi soup is the fufu, or pounded yam. It's formed into a soft, large, doughy ball that's perfect for dipping into the stew.
We don't add salt, you don't add pepper, you don't add anything. It's supposed to be flavorless. All the flavor is supposed to be in the stew that you cook it, you eat it with. So the stew could be tomato, it could be vegetable like spinach and kale, it could be okra.
I'm going to try the fufu.
Okay. So the fufu, the original way to eat it, you're supposed to actually swallow it.
Without chewing it?
Instead of chewing it. Because it has no flavor. But people chew it. My daughter chews it all the time. She likes it. The egusi sauce is just, that's what I tell you, there's not much that you can use to describe what.
There isn't, you're right.
You just got to actually eat it to enjoy it.
Prej's egusi soup with fufu also got the attention of social media influencers.
First time trying Nigerian food. I got their fufu meal. Not sure exactly what fufu is. I've never felt this before. Looks like mashed potatoes, but has a really weird texture. Almost has no taste. I got oxtail egusi soup. Try with some of this first. Their food is so fresh. Look how thick and tender their oxtail is. This egusi has like a nutty, buttery flavor. This was super good. Exceeded all of my expectations.
Put it together.
Now, this is one of your most popular dishes.
This is my most popular dishes by far. The egusi and fufu is about 48% of my sales. And this is how we make it. So we make it vegan style. And then, people want chicken, beef, goat, oxtail. They want red snapper fish, and we could make that for them.
Chef Prej is working on opening a restaurant in Midtown Detroit called Calabash, named after a type of gourd he would use to carry water in as a kid. He wants to offer more Nigerian food options in a traditional family-style setting where guests eat with their hands.
The food truck doesn't allow you to do much. Everything needs to be fast. Customers are impatient. The food has to come up on time. People got to go to work. But with Calabash, if you see how this restaurant is done right now, we don't have a lot of seating. It's by design. So this can only fit like 30 or 40 people. So anybody that's coming, when it opens, will have a reservation. They will pick the menu, what they want ahead of time, so we can prepare for them. And it could be anything. So with menu is going to be a variety of stuff, so they can have opportunity to try different things. When they come here, they're going to, you see there are no chairs here. They're going to remove their shoes, walk up there and sit on the platform, all right? We'll go up there, we'll bring them a towel, they wash their hands, they're going to eat with their fingers. And it's going to be a family-style feast style of dining. So it'll be different.
Okay, so what to drink with this Nigerian feast? Prej recommends a glass of zobo, a dark red-purple juice made from the hibiscus plant.
It's made with hibiscus, ginger, pineapple, honey. There's no sugar, you use honey to make it. And for the vegans, we use agave for them. But it's really good. So back in the day when we used to work, the farmers would work. We'll have this on the streets, on the wayside, because when you're coming back, some of them will have like back pain. It helped with the pain with the ginger, the cloves, the hibiscus help with the pain.
So like anti-inflammatory kind
Yes,
of.
yes. It helped them a lot with, arthritis, all those things. It helped. But, of course, we've been approached by a few people that wanted us to put it out, but it needed us to put preservatives in it, so I couldn't do it.
Right.
So if you leave this out for like a couple of days, it'll ferment, and you can actually get a little tipsy from it.
We won't try that and keep it away from the kids.
Yes.
Well, this is quite the spread. This is so colorful and beautiful, and it already smells amazing.
Yes, thank you.
As Prej prepares yet another dish for us to try, I ask him what makes Detroit special and why he stays.
Family, right? I have 2 kids here in Detroit. And but family. I just have a lot of family here. My mother is here now, so she helps me with the children. And I have a lot of love from Michigan, not just Detroit. I can tell you, and not to brag, but when I go to Flint or any of these places, we have the longest lines. So we have people that actually follow us and believe in what we do that I don't believe I can get it anywhere else. So I don't even want to try it. So I'm just going to stay here. Because you stay where you're loved. That's where you stay. Michigan is where I'm loved. My name is Prej Iroegbu. also known as Chef Prej, and that's the dish.
And that's the dish for today. Thanks to Chef Prej for introducing me to Nigerian food and to so many more people across Michigan and Ohio. In the show notes, I've put a link where you can find a Fork in Nigeria food truck near you. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and subscribe to The Dish to hear future Michigan food stories. Today's episode was produced and mixed by me, your host, Mercedes Mejia. It was edited by Ronia Kabansag and Laura Weber-Davis. Music for the show comes from Blue Dot Sessions and from Audio Network. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you next time.